Yeah! Alright. What's going on, everybody? Alright. So, that was some fun fights for UFC Fight Night Edgar versus Munhoz. It didn't look like a great card on paper, but the fights were fun. They were exciting, and we had some good finishes, some upsets too. That was amazing. My picks, I made 4 picks originally. 2 of the fights, well, one got completely canceled. The other guy didn't get a new opponent until basically the night before. So when I released the video, I did not know this because I had released it before this announcement. So we won't talk about those. For the 2 picks I did make, I went 1 for 2. So we'll talk about those though. And then we'll go into UFC Fight Night next week. It will be Anthony Smith against Alexander Rakic. It's a light heavyweight fight. But we'll talk about that one. So first, okay, so one of the first fights I had originally was going to be Daniel Rodriguez against Takashi Soto. No, I don't know why. I didn't really get the details as to why Soto didn't or couldn't fight, but the Nevada Commission would not allow him to. And so he ended up fighting this guy, Dwight Grant. Dwight Grant was also supposed to be on the card, but on the preliminaries, and his opponent couldn't make the fight. I don't know, for whatever reason. So basically the night before, they were told, hey, you guys are going to fight against each other. It was a fun fight. So Dwight Grant, he gets D-Rod, well, that's the guy's name, D-Rod first, boom, hits him, stuns him, drops him, starts wailing down punches, but you could see he was okay. He wasn't completely hurt. Remember, so the ref allowed it to continue. Then D-Rod recovers, hits him with a shot, boom, drops him, hits him with some punches, but Grant could not recover. Referee comes in, waves it off, TKO. That was great. I mean, you wouldn't have thought, you wouldn't have thought the way the fight was going on in the beginning that Rodriguez could have turned around, and he did. It was amazing. So that was a good, nice little turnaround. It was all happening in the first round. So that fight was done, like I said. Even though I picked Rodriguez to win his original fight, I won't count this because I did not know he was fighting Grant. I still would have picked him, but we can't count that. That was there. So that was that one. The next fight, which was supposed to be on the prelims, was this rising up-and-comer Maria Agapova versus Shayna Dotson. Dotson was a huge underdog. She was a plus 800 underdog, while Agapova was the favorite, minus 1,200. So if you're not familiar with betting terms, basically for Agapova, you would have to put $1,200 just to win $100. On Dotson's case, you would have to put, if you bet $100, you would win $800. So that's basically what those odds mean. So it was a huge mismatch. And Agapova won a fight a couple months ago, called out Dotson, said, hey, I want to fight you, so make it happen. So looking at the records-wise, Dotson's was 3 for 4, while Agapova is like 9-1. So you were like thinking, there's no way. Well, Agapova made a huge mistake. She came in full blast in the first round, from the opening bell, just went first blast, boom, boom, tried to throw punches, kicks, tried to, just do whatever she could, took her down, tried to she expended so much energy, she was going for submissions. I mean, you could see she was completely out of it. So Agapova takes down Dotson in the second round, but you can see she's completely winded. Dotson does a nice little sweep, gets top control, starts wailing down punches. I mean, and you could see Agapova had no energy whatsoever. She could not fight back. She couldn't get up, nothing. She was just taking heavy shots. Referee goes in, stops the fight. Massive upset on paper. Like I said, I don't think people, looking at the records and the betting odds, I don't think anybody gave Dotson a chance. And she comes out with the victory. So, huge performance. Agapova, she needs to rethink her strategy. You cannot go in full blast like that. It's like an adrenaline dump. And you just have no energy going in. So yeah, Agapova, she needs to rethink her whole strategy. You cannot go out like that in first, because if you don't get the finish, then you're just completely winded and you have no energy to fight the next 2 rounds. If it's a main event, then 4 rounds. So not a good strategy. She's young enough; she can still figure it out. For Dotson, it was a good win. See what she can do. I mean, brings her now to 4-4, and you never know. She's training with a good team, Elevation Fight Team in Colorado, so you never know what could happen there. All right. So the next fight after that was Austin Hubbard versus Joe Solecki. Now, this fight started trading, but you could see Joe Solecki had better boxing. He got control. He jumped on Hubbard's back, had a body triangle. So basically, he wraps his 2 feet over here, but while Hubbard was standing. And he's punching, trying to get, fight with the hands, get control. And then he just, he was on him like a backpack. Got him in a standing rear naked choke. Hubbard had to tap out. He couldn't defend it. And you could see he was turning red. Had to stop it. Good victory for Joe Selecki. Make quick work, so I'm sure we'll probably see a quick turnaround for him. All right. So that was that fight there. But again, that was on the prelims. It got bumped up because of all these other fights that didn't happen. So the co-main event was supposed to be Alonzo Menefield against Ovin St. Preux. St. Preux tested positive for COVID the day of these fights. So again, I did not know this because, like I said, put this video out before that. So they had to just completely scrap that fight. So now the one fight that I did predict correctly was Mike Rodriguez against Marcin Praccio, sorry. Probably saying his name wrong. He's Polish. So that got bumped up to the co-main event. Mike Rodriguez, again, started slow pace, good pace, but he got Marcin in a tight clinch, was just raining him down with knees and elbow. Boom, he hits him with an elbow, and you can see Praccio just drops, gets on top of him, 1-2 punches, knocks him out. Referee comes in, stops the fight. Great for Rodriguez. It's a nice little victory there for him. So good. It's also a co-main event, so maybe this will put some eyes on him. We'll see how we'll see what he does next. So that was a good fight there. The main event was this was Frankie's first fight in the bantamweight division ever. Now remember, he was a lightweight champ. He dropped down to featherweight after that. Fought for the titles there, didn't win. So now he's like, hey, let me try bantamweight. So he was going against number 5 Pedro Munhoz. I picked Munhoz to win, and I thought he was gonna, make quick work of Frankie. Well, was I wrong? Now, I guess you could say it was a little controversial. I mean, it was going back and forth. I think Frankie had the better combinations. He was hitting Pedro with 3-4 shots. Pedro had some devastating leg kicks. I mean, you could see Frankie's leg was completely compromised. I don't know how he was pushing forward. That was pretty amazing. Munhoz also had the more, you could see the more power punches. The way I had it scored, I guess I had Frankie winning, though I thought it was very close, 3-2. I wouldn't have had a problem with Munhoz winning, though I think most people thought Munhoz won. I just don't feel like he did enough or took full control of the fight like he should have. To see, again, people could say it was bad judging. Like I said, I don't think, maybe outside of one round where he clearly won, but the rest were just way too close. And they always say you don't want to leave especially fights like this, in the hands of the judges, because you just don't know what the way they're going to view it. Are they going to view it with the crisp striking combinations that Frankie had, or they're going to just look at, one shot from Pedro, because while one shot Pedro's hitting with Frankie's come back with 3 or 4. I mean, you just don't know. You don't know what judges are going to be looking at there. So again, could have went either way. I guess most people, you could say, I would have to probably rewatch it, because like I said, I did thought Frankie edged it out, but maybe I got to rewatch that again to see. But either way, for Frankie, this is great. I mean, he beat the number 5 guy in the bantamweight division. He shouldn't fight for the title. Again, that should be Aljamain Sterling fighter Petr Yan, but he could fight like Dominic Cruz or something like that. For Munhoz, I think you just got to tweak some things, to see, just maybe throw more combinations, go from there. So we'll see what he does next, but he's not out of it, so it'll be interesting. So that was a great card. So now those were the predictions there. Again, I went 1 for 2 because, like I said, the 2 other fights didn't happen, so I'll be making my predictions for this next card there. So for the fights that are going to be happening this weekend, so now remember, a couple weeks ago I had talked about this one fight that was supposed to happen. It was a rematch. It was Magomed Ankiev against Ian Kutaliba. Now remember, this fight was supposed to happen actually I think it was supposed to be the pay-per-view. It didn't happen because Kutaliba tested positive for COVID. I guess now everything's clear there. So now this fight's going to happen this weekend. So finally, it should happen, the rematch. I'm still picking Magomed like I did a couple weeks ago, or it was a week ago. I can't recall exactly, but I'm picking him to beat Kutaliba again. It was a controversial stoppage the first time. Hopefully it won't be like that this time. So yeah, that'll be my first pick there. The next fight is in the women's strawweight division. It's number 14, Alexa Grasso, versus Ji Yeon Kim, who's number 14 in the flyweight division now. So she's dropping down. She's making her debut there in the strawweight division. Grasso's still young. You know, she looked up and coming in the very beginning. She looked good. She looked like she had some potential coming up. She's had some losses. She did lose a majority decision to Carla Esparza in her last fight. Which, I mean, you know, again, Carla was a former champ. So there's no slouch there. And a majority decision, it's not bad. So, you know, but like I said, Grasso's still young. While Kim won her last fight via TKO against Nadia Kassina. So, should be a good fight. Again, I'm not sure how, maybe she'll be stronger dropping down Kim. I'm not really too sure there. But I will pick Grasso for this one. Again, I think, you know, she has the skill. She's been in there with tougher competition. I mean, like I said, she lost, but it was a majority decision to Esparza. So I will pick Grasso to win there. I think it'll be a good fight. That'll be fun, like I said. So we'll see what happens there. So the next fight will be the co-main event, which will be in the welterweight division. It will be number 13, Robbie Lawler, former champ, against number 14, Neil Magny. Now, if you remember correctly, Robbie Lawler, now, you know, he was champ. This was a couple of years ago. So he's kind of looked not so great. He lost a couple fights before this to Ben Askren. It was a controversial call, but Askren did beat him. And then he fought Colby Covington, who Covington beat him up pretty good, which I was kind of surprised. I thought Covington was going to lose that fight, but Covington, you know, just pummeled him and everything there. So, you know, he's trying to drop that skid of losses there, while Magny is coming off a victory, which I think people were counting him out against. He won a decision against Anthony Martin. Now, you know, that was good because, like I said, a lot of people were picking Anthony Martin to win. Magny, you know, he's been in there with the top guys. You know, he's, like I said, he's won some, lost some. He's always kind of going up and down there. I will actually pick Magny to win this fight. I think it will be a good battle. I just think Lawler's better days are behind him now. So, you know, like I said, I expected him to beat Askren. He didn't. Those controversial. Expected him to beat Covington. He didn't. Just for some reason, it just doesn't look like he could pull the trigger like he used to, because he has devastating power. So I'm going to go with Magny there. All right. So the main event is going to be in the light heavyweight division. So this is going to be number 5, Anthony Smith, against number 8, Alexander Rakic. Now, Anthony Smith, in his last fight, fought against Glover Teixeira. Now, he took a beating, an unnecessary beating. It got stopped in the 5th round by TKO. I really feel like the fight should have been stopped in the third round. I mean, he was just getting pummeled, beaten, just taking unnecessary shots. I just don't know why his corner just didn't throw in the towel. I know they say, oh, it's not manly enough. I don't agree with that. Your fighter shouldn't take unnecessary punishment like that. And he's making a pretty good quick turnaround. I don't like that. I think he should have waited a little bit longer for that. So, you know, he has a lot of talent, and you could see. I mean, he did fight Jones, lost, but he did fight John Jones for the belt. He just doesn't, I don't know, to me, it just seems like way too quick of a turnaround. Rakic lost his last fight by split decision to Volkan Ozdemir. Volkan's no slouch either. So let me tell you, Volkan's got devastating power. I mean, he was there with him. You know, they were fighting. It was a close fight. I thought Volkan won, but again, it was close. So, you know, with Rakic, he was up until that point, he was on a 12-fight winning streak. I think he will win this fight. The reason why I say I think he will win this fight is I think Smith, like, again, is coming. He took unnecessary beating for no reason in his last fight, and a quick turnaround there. I don't like it. So for that, I don't know how durable he's going to be. How much, you know, the effect. Sometimes I think you should just take a longer break from there, because you don't know, his chin could be worn out. But I think Rakic will win. I'm not saying he'll win by TKO necessarily, but I think Rakic will win. So if we're going back onto these picks here, we'll have, so the 4 picks I'm making will be Ankiev, Grasso, Neil Magny, and Rakic. So that's going to conclude this talk for the UFC Fight Night. There will be another fight after this the following weekend. So we're going to wrap up. We'll talk about the wrap up of Smith versus Rakic, and then we'll go into the next card after that. Remember, if you guys could like, comment, and subscribe, I greatly appreciate it. And if you guys have any other things you want me to do with MMA, please let me know in the comments below. All right, y'all. Peace.